welcome back to another video. As you can see, it is titled Reinventing Yourself After Quitting a Sport That You Love. I felt compelled to make this video because it is the month of May where you athletes tend to commit to college or are still looking for a home. And it's also a month where you athletes find out that you're not going to be playing at the next level. I wanted to share my story and maybe give us some word of advice for those out there who are figuring out this month that they are not playing at the next level. So let's get right into it. A little bit about me. I played basketball for a majority of my life. Started taking it serious in 6th grade. Was introduced to AAU that year as well, and played it all the way through middle school, through high school. Ever since I started playing basketball in 6th grade, I had the dreams of going Division I. Well, actually, originally it was the NBA, but then by the time 8th grade came, I realized that NBA wasn't, a smart decision. Well, not that it was a dumb decision, but like it wasn't realistic. So 8th grade, my mindset changed to just going to college for free and playing Division I basketball. I was a pretty decent player in middle school and high school. Freshman year in high school, I went to a Catholic school, transferred to a public school for the last 3 years because of some situation that happened and occurred. Maybe it wasn't my smartest decision, but I went through it regardless. Going into high school, by the time junior year came, I realized that at the caliber that I was growing at physically, as well as the way my game was being played right now, I was not going to be a Division I nor a Division II player, and at best, I was probably going to be a high-level Division III player. So boom, senior year comes, I have a pretty decent year. I have D3s at the end of it, and I was set on a D3, but some things came up with my family, and I came to the conclusion that I was not going to be playing basketball in college, and that I was going to focus on my career and focus on school. And when the week occurred where me and my parents kind of came to a decision that I was going to be playing basketball at the next level, it kind of like shocked me, and it was like my whole world did a whole 360, from my perspective, like for the longest time, I thought that basketball was all I had, It was how I introduced myself, how I structured my day, and how I saw my future. I imagined myself playing basketball for another 4 years. And when my parents kind of shut the door on that, I was just sad. I was guilty, and I was confused as to what's next, I remember asking myself, what now? Like, what am I going to focus on next? Legitimately, I didn't know who I was without it. No practices to look forward to, no games, no purpose. There was no point in me even touching the ball anymore. What was I preparing for? Of course, I would play for fun, but it wasn't what it used to be. I'm a competitive person, and knowing that I was not going to be playing competitively anymore, it kind of just took my drive out the game. I remember that summer, as the days went on and I would play basketball less and less, I realized that quitting basketball didn't mean that I had to quit on myself and what I had and the drive I had for life. So I began to explore other things. I remember just trying a bunch of things, watching YouTube videos about others who went through the same journey. And it led to entrepreneurship. I remember that summer, I realized I had stopped playing basketball, and I knew I had so much time to put my focus on something else, and it was clothing. I remember that summer I started designing on Photoshop and began developing a passion for something other than basketball. I began learning how to design garments on Photoshop, sketch out vectors, download different fonts and create logos utilizing the fonts. And that was something I picked up on. And by the end of the summer, I began the pre-launch of my clothing brand, and I didn't even realize that I had quit basketball a couple months ago. Of course, it would be something that I would keep in the back of my mind, but, putting my focus into a new thing kind of took me away from the pain of quitting the sport. And when the following school year started, aka my first semester of college, I remember heading into it still praying that maybe there was a chance that my parents would be like, oh, you can play basketball. But obviously that didn't come true. And I remember just going through school and being a student for the first time, not a student athlete, just being 100% student, having to just worry about school, not having to worry about practice and games on the weekend, not having to wake up early to shoot around and things of that nature. And I won't lie, it is. At first, it was unfamiliar territory, but as the semester went on, it became normal, and I actually felt a lot more relaxing and less stressful. Being a student athlete in high school, I had to wake up early for practices and worry about so many other things in the sport of basketball, worrying about the plays that we had, practice the night before, worry about a big game against a rival school. And now in college, I don't have to worry about any of that. I just have to worry about getting to class on time, getting good grades, and of course, my own business, my clothing brand. Furthermore, the surplus of free time, it also allowed me to kind of figure out the different types of career paths that are there for me, whether it was finance, marketing, insurance, and things of that nature. I began learning about the world. I began learning about non-basketball stuff. I spent all my time and energy into investing into the knowledge of basketball, understanding how to play the game and the different types of tricks around it. I didn't even take a look at the real world, what was outside of basketball. I didn't understand how the world really worked. All I was thinking about every day when I woke up was basketball, basketball, basketball. And looking back, I was one of those dumb athletes, in my opinion. I had minimal knowledge about business, and I was just straight basketball every day. And now I understand a lot more about how the world works, and I recognize things in this world that'll help me, be successful in the future. So it's been nearly 2 years since I played a competitive game, and some reflections from really just today is just that I'm grateful for it. I don't, despise my parents for making me quit the sport. They're looking out for me, and honestly, the position I'm in right now, I've learned so much, running my own business. Honestly, if you're in this phase where you're scared for what the next couple of months is going to look like and how you're going to go through your day without picking up a basketball or picking up a football or baseball, number one, grow some balls. This is life. You have to adapt. You're going to have to pivot. You're going to have to rebuild. You're going to have to reinvent yourself internally and externally. Your routine is going to change. Don't be scared, but be hopeful. Understand that you can make the best out of it. You can make it so good that you'll be able to live your dream life without the sport. Don't attach your identity to something external. Everything you attach yourself to should be internal, your morals, and most importantly, God. Pray to God, He'll show you the way, He'll show you the answers, just like how He pointed me to the church, how I began building new relationships, how He pointed me to create my own clothing business. I hope you got something out of this video, and if you're going through the same path, feel free to leave a comment. I'm replying to everything, and I feel like this is, a YouTube video that's kind of needed for the month of May, aka the commitment month. And for all the athletes out there, man, if y'all don't know where y'all going, and if y'all considering quitting the sport, man, pray to God. He'll give you the answers. Walk through step by step the scenarios that could possibly unfold if you were to make choice A or if you were to make choice B. And, trust your gut instinct, and don't be scared of letting go of the sport. Because at the end of the day, God got you, and you will adapt, because that is what humans do best. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.